What up? It is Misha here, back at it again with another video, just coming in to show some love and to give you all some insight into how to figure out whether or not you should go back for an advanced degree or a certification, and when do you know it's the right time and how to go about it so that you can make the best decision in order to get a return on investment on your investment in your education. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video and to stay in touch. Right, so just thinking about it from the perspective of my own experience and how an advanced degree or an additional degree turned out to be a return on investment for moi. So your girl started off as a first year teacher making around $60,000, a little bit more than that my first year. I already came in with my master's, so that kind of pushed me over to the left. And when I say the left, in New York City, there is a chart, a salary step chart. And the way that it works is that the more education you have, you move to the left, and the more years you have, you move down. The goal is to be all the way to the left and all the way down, because that means that you are making the most money possible in terms of base pay. Now, as a first year teacher or a second year teacher or a third year teacher, obviously I can't rush how many years I have. I have to do my time. I got to just hustle and grind it out. However, something that I am in control of is my education. So I decided to go back to get a second master's in order to ensure that I would be able to get the most money in terms of education. So thinking about my first year where I made about 60 something thousand, a little bit more. So now I'm in my third year and I make $75,000. Yes. $75,000. Yep, exactly. So yes, I got a little bit extra money because we did get a raise, and we make a little bit more every couple years that you work. However, the bulk of my money came from the fact that I went back to school. So I came in with the master's that already put me on the left and gave me some, leeway to kind of finagle. But from my first master's to my second master's, it was over $7,000 in additional compensation added to my base salary. So it was a no-brainer for me to go back to school to ensure that I was making the most money as possible. Anyway, I actually went back and became a teacher through a program called New York City Teaching Fellows. And what it does is a program that recruits people who traditionally didn't study education in undergrad and gets them into the profession in high needs areas. So, for example, special education, like me, or math or science. And the great thing about programs like New York City Teaching Fellows is that they subsidize this degree to the max. So for example, in my paycheck for 2 years, they took out $408 a month. So if we do the math of that, which is 408 times 24, which is 2 years, equals $9,792. That's how much out of pocket I had to pay for my second master's. But here's the catch. All of this money came out pre-taxed, so I didn't really feel the hit as bad as if it would have came out after post-tax. And then on top of that, I received a grant through AmeriCorps for about $5,600 to cover my expenses while I was in grad school, which then brings my degree to $4,192. So I paid $4,192 for my second master's, and within that year that I finished, or my plus 30 or got additional 30 credits, I was making $7,000 more than I was before. So the return on investment on this was buku bucks, crazy, all that, give me my money, run, bitch, better have my money. No, you think you, like literally that's how I sent my email, like, hey, can I get my transcript? Like, I want my money on time. Obviously, that's not what I did, but that was my mindset in getting this other degree to ensure that I was getting as much money as possible. So when you're thinking about going back for another degree, there's certain things that I want you to really, really sit down and think about. Number one, what do you want your degree in? Because so many people go back to get an advanced degree, a graduate degree, or a certification just because they feel like they need a buffer between ending school and going into the real world, or they don't want to be seen as slacking, which I can totally understand, and those feelings are extremely valid. We just want to be careful of how we react to those emotions, because they can land you in a really tough financial situation if you end up going back for a master's degree and end up in $100,000 in debt, and you finish your program and you're like, I don't even know if I want to do this. So really, really think hard about, is this something that I want? Is this something that I value? Is this something that I need? 2 is, once you start looking into programs, you need to start figuring out which program is going to offer you the most money or the most affordable education. So I went to a school that's not super like brand name. It's not like Rutgers or anything, or UConn or anything. But I got a degree for $4,000. Like you're not beating that. So really look into what provides you with the most affordable option. And while you're doing that research, you want to be looking into things like assistantships, and that's where you work for the university and they provide some type of tuition remission. And actually, let me be clear, it's not necessarily working, like you're not a full-time salaried person, but it's given to you as like a graduate student, where you get that subsidized education. Then you have the option of being a TA, which is a teacher's assistant. You're working for a professor, working with them in the classroom or the lecture hall or whatever have it be, but that is another way. On top of a research assistant. So that's someone who works with a professor or professors, pretty hands-on in terms of getting research and helping them get things published, but that is also another way. As well as maybe you can get a job working at that university. So not only are you getting a salary, but then you're getting tuition remission. So let me say that there. And then also, like, scholarships exist for advanced degrees. People don't think so, but they do. There are scholarships, there are grants, there are even programs like the one I went through with New York City Teaching Fellows. So see what other things are out there that can make this the most affordable thing as possible. 3 is, again, and this is very closely related to number 2, is you got to dig deep to make sure that you're just not going to get this advanced degree just for a brand name. Right? There are people at my job who went to Columbia, which is super dope, like Ivy League it down. But there are also people at my job who like will name a college and you'll be like, where's that? Like, what is that? What is that? I went to Rutgers and I went to UConn, and all of us are working at the same place with the potential to earn the same amount of money regardless of where we got our degree, right? People will care more about your experience and your potential based off of your references, based off of your internships, based off of your past work history than they are about where you went to school. And that's the truth. And I know people don't like to hear it, but like, it is what it is. Experience will get you farther. A letter of recommendation will get you farther. A boss calling up a homie like, yo, I got this dope person who you should hire, will get you farther than your name brand degree. Yeah. Don't worry, I have 2 name brand degrees, so like, I already know what that's about. And the 4th thing is, if you already work for a company, see if there is an opportunity for your company to cover the cost for you to get this additional degree or certification. So for example, in the DOE, there are certain shortage areas where they're willing to cover most of the expenses, if not all the expenses, for you to get that degree or certification. Now, granted, it might come with some stipulations, like, oh, you have to then work for the company for this many years after completing your degree. But if you're going to work for them anyway, then I don't see the problem. It's an affordable degree. So wherever you work, go to your HR department and have a conversation about, hey, I'm thinking about going back to school to get this degree or this certification. What programs do we have here for people who are looking to go back to school for this thing? And obviously that thing should be related to your job right now, like the current profession you have. But like, the worst I can say is like, oh no, we don't have anything for that. But there's the opportunity that they could, and you could just get free money and free lunch. So you want to be insightful about those things too. So I really want to stress this idea of not going back to school just because it's a buffer, just because you think you have to. If you are in the position where you know getting another degree or certification is going to give you more money, absolutely go for it. Because that's a guaranteed return on investment. You're investing in yourself, so that's automatically automatic. You got that. But to see the cha-ching, that cash money flow, is a plus. And again, you just want to make sure, how can I get this degree or certification as affordable as possible? Period. Fam, get your money. Like, hustle for your money and figure out what is the best return on investment for your time and your money. That's that on that. In the meantime, in between time, stay blessed and stick to your budget as best as possible.
After I
Thanks
get
for
it, I
spending time with me.
reinvest.
Peace,
After
peace,
I
peace,
get
peace,
it, I
peace,
reinvest.
peace.
After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. After I get it, I reinvest. Stack and put it back in it. After